They knew exactly where we had gone. She stayed by that window, her hand on the lock, telling us it was going to be okay, but she never took her eyes off the street until that rattling engine finally faded into the distance. The year was 1991, and I was 6 years old living in Winnipeg. My family was already in the middle of an unthinkable nightmare. My 10-year-old sister, Robin, had just passed away. I was the only child left, and the grief in our house was heavy and suffocating. I went over to my friend Holly's place just to get out of the house, looking for any shred of normal childhood. We decided to do what we always did, ride our bikes around the block. It was a beautiful, quiet summer day, the kind of afternoon where you feel like nothing bad can happen. But on our third lap around the neighborhood, the atmosphere changed. We noticed a van. It was a beat-up white freezer van, no windows in the back, just a solid, rusted metal shell. As it pulled up beside us, it didn't just drive past, it slowed to a crawl, and the engine had this horrible, rhythmic rattle to it, a sound like metal grinding on metal. Being so young, we didn't immediately have that stranger danger alarm go off. We were mostly just confused. We actually slowed down and stopped our bikes to see what they wanted, and the van stopped right along with us, idling heavily. The passenger window was already rolled down, revealing a pitch-black interior that seemed to swallow the sunlight. I looked at the passenger, and the image is burned into my brain. He was gaunt, with yellowed teeth and long, frizzy, straggly hair that looked like it hadn't been washed in weeks. Then, the world seemed to move in slow motion. The passenger door swung open. The man put one heavy foot out onto the pavement, shifting his weight as if he was about to lunge. At the same time, I heard the heavy, clunky thud of the sliding door beginning to retract. The passenger didn't even look at us. He turned his head back into the darkness of the van and said 7 words I will never forget. You grab one, I'll grab the other. He said it loud, enough for me to hear it clearly, like he didn't even care that we were listening. Pure, cold adrenaline hit us. We didn't scream or cry. We just slammed our feet onto the pedals. We were only a few houses away, and I remember my heart hammering against my ribs so hard it hurt. We didn't even stop to kick our kickstands. We ditched the bikes right on the grass in the driveway and scrambled inside, slamming the front door and throwing the lock. Holly's mom was in the house and was immediately confused. Seeing us burst in crying and shaking, she assumed we had just fallen off our bikes and scraped our knees. We were gasping, trying to tell her a van was following us, but to her, the rattling engine she could hear outside just sounded like normal street noise. There was no reason for her to be afraid until she looked at us and saw the sheer terror in our eyes. She went to the front window and her face went completely pale. She saw the van. She watched as it slowly, deliberately crept past the house, almost at a walking pace, with our bikes lying right there on the lawn like neon markers. They knew exactly where we had gone. She stayed by that window, her hand on the lock, telling us it was going to be okay, but she never took her eyes off the street until that rattling engine finally faded into the distance. When my mom came to pick me up later, she was already a shell of herself from the loss of my sister, telling her that I had almost been taken, that she had almost lost her only remaining child in the same week devastated her. It was a second trauma piled on top of a fresh wound. It's a weight I still carry, realizing that if we had been just a few seconds slower, my mother's world would have been completely extinguished. So to the man with the yellow teeth and the people in the back of that rattling white van, let's not meet.